All right, welcome back to the channel. Here's what we got going on. We're going to take this over to Holiday Raceway and we're gonna see if we can't set a new personal best. So it's got 150 overs in it. It's got a 14 mil. It's got a lot more fuel than what I've ever had in the truck. Transmission still's a little wonky. It doesn't like to shift fast. It shifts, just not fast. But before we go over there, we got to change the oil in it. We got one of these Napa Gold filters for it, and then some good old Rotella. I'm working on switching over to the driven racing oil stuff. They don't have it yet. So I gotta get rid of all these boards, get rid of this battery, do something with all that stuff, make sure that this is all secure. Now I like to go through and pre-fill my filters before I install them. So I'm gonna do that before I crawl underneath the truck. We take the Rotella and we pour it into the filter. So here's what we got going on. I got a bucket, I got the filter already with oil in it. I've got a wrench with a 16 and some paper towels. First thing I like to do is take the filter off and get the filter swapped out. Ended up having to go get the 3 jaw to be able to get this filter off because she is on here. And I mean, like, she is definitely on there. Now we're starting to get somewhere. So make sure all that falls into the bucket. This is always the scariest part. When will it let go? Now with that filter off, we swap it over for the other filter. Now that filter's off, that filter is on. Pull that drain plug out. And this always goes like you would expect for it to. So right now my fingers are white. In a second they won't be. Oh, but you know what? I didn't lose the bolt. And I'm just gonna hang out down here until that is done draining and I can take everything with me. And now that that's basically done draining, I'll put the drain plug back in it. And then we'll put some fresh oil in it, be good to go. Make sure to tighten this up on video so I can look back at it later and be like, yep, I tightened it. Grab the tools and everything out from underneath it, and we're done with the underside anyways. Now I like to go through and cut the filters apart, see if there's any debris or anything else in there. It just kind of gives me an idea of what condition the motor is in. We've got really big stakes we beat on it. It's a good thing to have a pretty good idea of how she's doing, so pretty straightforward. So just cut the top off of it. And then once you cut the top off of it, you got your top plate. And then you have your actual filter, which you also have that little ring. Helps seal everything together. Oh, I might have to take it out of the... we've got like some small spots like that. Yeah, and there's a lot of copper throughout this engine. Or at least throughout this filter anyways. There's just some more. That's some of the zinc coating. Yeah, y'all can kind of see. Oh, dude, there we go. Look at all the copper we've got sitting in this thing. I don't know if it's eaten through a main bearing or if it's something that's left over from a previous one. Like, that's a pretty good chunk right there. I don't know, this motor might be coming apart. And that's why I like to go through, cut those filters apart and see what they look like on the inside. There was a lot of material in that filter, so we probably won't really go that far with it. Are we still gonna beat on it tonight? Of course we are. So T6 going in it now. We're gonna take bets on how bad I'm gonna miss this pour. Boop. Billet oil filter cap. Wow. Yeah, it's already missing. Nice part is once you got it started, you can basically carry it out. Boop. Got all the 2x4s off the back of this, got the toolboxes locked up, got the oil change in the motor. I'm gonna go and put on some pants and actual shoes because, well, racing and flip-flops and shorts, just if something happens, isn't a good time. So got some blue jeans and some boots I'm gonna throw on. And I'll tell you this now, if you wanna go drag racing, hey, go for it. Nobody's gonna stop you, but there does become a point where you really should be considering safety. I'm not gonna tell you that you have to have safety, but you should. It's come back and bit me a few times. I don't hear a lot of people talking on safety because everybody wants to go fast. Nobody wants to be safe. I get that. So my 2 cents, take it as you will. All right, we got some pants on, we got some boots on. Let's take this thing over to Holiday. Oh, there it is, Holiday Raceway. All right, we're out here, Holiday, got our first pass. We were over here, we ran a 10.8, and the fastest this truck has run is a 8.9, which is what I'm trying to get to. So a 10.8 ain't gonna cut it. So for this pass, we've got a C-clamp on the wastegate to be able to make sure that the gate doesn't open at all. And that should pick us up a couple pounds of boost, which is what we're looking for all the fuel that we have. So we're gonna give that a try. Anyways, at this point, I tried to manually shift the truck instead of letting it shift itself. As you can see, I'm shifting the gear selector there. Shift this thing manually. And you can watch as I shift the lever, and the transmission still takes a couple minutes to actually figure out what it's doing. Thanks, sir. 10.5. Wow. And it went faster. Not that much. That's embarrassing. He's waving. L5P. L5P, sorry. Smoke him out back up. I know. I think you did that on purpose. Oh, that's a wrap for the track. I'll update y'all once we get home. It's slow, 9.5 or 10.5s. So here are the 3 passes that we ran with the truck at Holiday. Don't mind the motor and transmission sitting in the bed. That's for a future episode. We are focused on this. So our first pass that we did, we ran a 10.8, and this is all 1/8 mile stuff, which is pretty slow. And then we clamped the gate off, and we went a 10.6, which is still pretty slow. And then I got after it a little bit more, and we went a 10.5. And the fastest this truck has gone is an 8.9 in the 1/8 mile. Reason why it's probably not doing that: one, we've got a ton more weight on the back of it. Secondly, these tires are a lot heavier than what they originally were. And a lot of it has to do with the transmission just not shifting at all. You could really hear it in that last pass when it was going down. It just wouldn't find a gear. So I'm gonna pull that transmission out, go through it real good, and then it's probably in the tune because the transmission shifts really good until you get to about 90% throttle. Once you get to 90%, it doesn't shift. So 10.5 is probably the fastest this truck will go for a while because it's on a 14 mil CP3, 150% over injectors, and a Cell 67 in the valley. Now, The 150s and 14 mil are coming out. We're gonna put a 10 mil and some 45s in it. The real goal with this truck is to be able to turn this into basically the tow rig that we can get in and go to events and tow the Poor Diesel Challenge truck. That 14 mil and 150s just don't work for towing. I mean, they do. I towed the Poor Diesel Challenge truck all the way back from Mississippi, but it got like 7 miles to the gallon. And I don't wanna be doing that with all the driving that I've got in mind. So that's all. We were in our time, 10.5, slow. Maybe later on, once we get the Poor Diesel Challenge truck done, we'll circle back to trying to run faster than an 8.9, but not today. And as always, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching, and consider subscribing. Hey, pup. Oh, tell him. Tell him. Woof.